I'm CK. Today we've got a module from Thing Modular. It's their Move. It uses a PIR sensor that's passive infrared to sense motion and do some switching on inputs and outputs, which would be kind of fun. I've done a PIR alarm from Jameco in the past with a good schematic, and you can it's very simple, so if you're interested in how to wire up a PIR sensor, look at that video. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description, though I'll probably forget, but maybe I'll even do a card up in the corner, even though I've never done that before. But anyway, we'll put this thing together, see how interesting it is when we put it in the rack and start moving around it, and I hope you enjoy the video. Here's the bag, picked it up from thonk.co.uk, as I do many of my modules. It looks actually pretty simple, so we'll see what we've actually got in the thing. There's the bag with other electronic parts, but we'll look at the front panel on the circuit board first. Looks like the sensor may already be mounted. I'll look here in a second. So the sensor will go here, and then there's two stop things. I'm going to assume those are jacks. Flip, that might be a switch, or it might be a jack. In, into, out, out to. And this is a fiber front panel, even though it does have some metallized plating on the front. I don't know if that's a ground plane that they've put in there. I don't know. Move Proto 1, designed by Tom Whitwell in Herne Hill, London, May 2022. So here's the PCB and the sensor. See if we can figure out how to open this without destroying the products inside. Here's the little PIR sensor. Again, oh, that's a little bent. Again, you can see a full video of building a simple alarm with this on the channel. Then we've got the board, which has a couple of surface mount things. It's got a diode, it's got a transistor, a couple of resistors, another transistor, another resistor, capacitor, and another diode. So not much, because the circuit doesn't really need that much to switch. But let's see what's in the bag. And again, it's got a build guide available for us, which we may or may not choose. Again, I'm sorry, I didn't even look at this. Well, since it's all jacks and two switches, okay, the switches are, let's see, where are we? Move 1 and 2 are switched, and override is a jack, so the flip is a jack. Then we've got the sensor that'll go there. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh, the sensor's going to go up here. This is the power connector, as you can see on the back. And this is, looks like another power connector, maybe for a different type of powering one of the other standards. Let's see what's in the bag. We've got, oh, that's the relay. Okay, that'll be the relay, because that's what the PIR sensor is going to be triggering, the relay to switch things back and forth. And in here we've got a couple of switches, some Bufaco Knurleys, which I love. I bought like 200 of them. They're really good panel connectors. Power cable, jacks with the panel nuts still on them. Boo! Make me work hard. And that's it. So we'll get the soldering iron heated up, put this thing together. They've got a good build guide on their website. The QR code on the bag goes to Thonk's page, and Thonk's page actually does not have the build guide. That's okay. One thing I didn't mention, because I didn't actually know, this is a limited edition module. They only made 100 of them. and I grabbed one of them, so that means only 99 other ones were sold, and apparently they're sold out right now. Who knows if they'll get them back. If there's enough demand, if you like what you see, contact them and say, hey, I would love to have one of those too. And they may do something about that. I mean, money is always a good motivator. We're going to put the power header on it first. Again, it's a very simple build. Get the power header in. It's all crooked. Doesn't matter. I'll just press it with my thumb, reheat that leg, and it settles into place very nicely. Solder up the rest of these pins. Now we're going to put the relay on. We're going to make sure we get the orientation correct, because that is critical, as he emphasizes a number of times. Here's the little relay. And let's look at the picture to make sure we're getting it right. And it's going to go right here. There's some extra pinnage around on this that is not used. This hole is empty, these are empty. So again, we're going to do the same thing we just did on the power header. We're going to do one leg. And as you can see, it's not quite flat. By design, I wasn't trying to get it flat. Heat it back up, and there it goes. Now, solder the rest of those pins. Now, it looks like these pins are also connected here, so you may be able to drive this from an external source. I don't know why you might want to, or theoretically, he may have a different supplier that he may use for relays sometimes. Don't know. Now, we're going to put all the switches and sockets on, and then the PIR sensor, then we'll put the... Oh, he wants us to move that. Okay. We will check that in a second. So before we do that, he wants us to slide the... There's supposed to be a little pin header plastic there, a three-piece that we can slide down to position this just perfectly through the hole. But I don't have that. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to aim it appropriately when we get there. And he's the one he shows in his build diagram. Oh, I see. We do want to pull this. No, we don't want to pull that cap off, because there's a sensor and we don't want that undone. But what he was saying is there typically is something there, but it's off in the thonk kits. So basically we'll just go ahead and put all the panel mount materials on it. Now the question is, how does it get oriented? We want it oriented like that, because that's the diode coming in, and that's the, yeah, there's a little marking here that says plus 12 volts, and on the little motherboard here, the daughter board that holds the sensor, there's a little plus sign, so that's the way it goes. And now we'll get our front panel, try and put it on. Yeah, see this dome is, let me try this without the, yeah, see this dome is too big, but I don't have a window. I'm looking around to see if there's another part in here. There is not. I don't have a window. If I take that dome off, the sensor is bare, and that will, of course, fit. Maybe I could do it that way. I'll do it that way. Okay, we're going to do it this way, kids. We're going to put it through from the front, and then have it sit like that. That works for me. So, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and do the other components, the other panel features. I have it backwards, don't be stupid. We'll do the other components first. And I left a panel nut on. So that doesn't work, does it? Put that on like so. Grab my little... Actually, I'm not going to clamp it today. I'm going to do my alternate method for keeping them together. I'm going to solder one pin here on that jack. Of course, when I flipped it over, everything came apart, but that's okay. Now I've got one pin soldered on this jack, so I can take the panel nut for that jack, put it on, snug it down. We don't want it too tight right yet, but that keeps everything aligned for right now. And then I just kicked it up. And I'm gonna do these jacks first, and then I'm gonna get to the switches, because it looks like the board may be, the front panel may be under a little bit of tension, and I want to get it flat. I mean perpendicular, I mean parallel to the circuit board. With those components on, I can now look at, see, this is, it's like the front panel is bent a little bit, but I can probably bring it up a little bit. Now I'm going to drop the sensor through the front. Doesn't go quite flat, but if I force it a little bit, the internal pins bend a little bit, so I'm going to use a piece of foam to keep this pressed against the back, and then support it on this end with another piece of foam. Always keep the foam from your processors or ICs, because they're very handy for things like this. Now the switches, and we want to make sure they're flat against the circuit board, so again we'll use a piece of foam under the switch handles to keep them pressed against the board. Now we'll put all the rest of the panel nuts on. Now we'll put power cable on. There's a good indication of where the red stripe goes. And that, my droogs, is it. Pretty simple build. I mean, it took 15 minutes maybe. There's the front, the side, the back, the other side, the top, and the bottom. And now we'll put it in the rack and move with it. Okay, we're in the rack, and as you can see on the middle left, you can see my sequencer rolling around in the 4 LFOs to the left of that, controlling that. Then on the right side, you'll see the move, and it's connected to my ammeter, and it's showing 1 milliamp right now. Now I'm about 7 feet away, and if I move, turns on until it times out. Turn it on again. So that's what it does, basically. So let's go. I gotta go in front of the camera and get my coffee. So that's in move mode with the switch up. I'm going to move the switch down, which is in stop mode, which means when it triggers, it'll stop it. Now I'll stop it, and that will time out in a little bit. Now I'm going to use another LFO to go into flip, because that flips the status. I'll speed that LFO up a little bit. As you can see, it's kind of skipping steps. And of course, when flip is in, the sensor has no suggestion. Sensor's not in use. So take that back out. Now I'll move in front again. So that's what it is. It's an interesting little curiosity, and again, it draws not very much power, which is great. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to look at this sensor pack and see if, I think if I replace the capacitor in there, I can change the delay time before it turns itself off. And if I do, I'll post another video about it. I might get bored and not do it. So don't hold your breath on that one. But it's an interesting little thing. And you could set it up for, well, I don't know, you can figure out what to set it up. Maybe set it outward facing your rack. So if somebody moves in front of it or if people are dancing, it'll turn on one, say a powerful bass line or something on and off when people get close. I'm just making that up right now. But it's the only thing I'd like to, I wish it had, was a LED showing when the relay was on. I think I can wire one in there again. If I do the other thing, I'll do that too. But all in all, it's an interesting little module, and using a real-world sensor to control your music. And I hope you enjoyed the video.